Good evening, friends and colleagues. I'd like to welcome you to the 2019 Blavatnik Awards for Young Scientists in the United Kingdom. The Blavatnik Awards are given not just for exceptional work already done, but in support of world-changing work that we believe is yet to be done by these young scientists. Please welcome the laureates and finalists of the 2019 Blavatnik Awards for Young Scientists. The 2019 Blavatnik Award honorees hail from 8 different countries of origin. More than 60% of all Blavatnik Award honorees are immigrants to the country in which they were recognized for their contribution to science. The awards have recognized 259 young scientists and engineers from an incredible 43 countries across 6 continents. Science knows no boundaries.
Without one person, none of this would have been possible. As the founder and chairman of the Blavatnik Family Foundation, Sir Leonard Blavatnik.
Now for our first disciplinary category, honoring exceptional work in chemistry, Professor Igor Larusa from the University of Manchester. Synthetic methods developed in his lab allow chemists to make drugs already in use and easily change their molecular architecture to produce new analogs of those drugs that may have novel or improved properties. From the University of Birmingham, Professor Rachel O'Reilly. Taking clues from nature, she has created novel synthetic strategies and innovative functional materials that will have direct relevance in nanomedicine, renewable energy, and sustainable chemistry.
Imagine if your weight could be revealed by standing under a spotlight. A scary prospect. That is effectively what Philipp has done. Ladies and gentlemen, it is with great respect that I introduce to you, from the University of Oxford, the 2019 Blavatnik Awards Laureate in Chemistry, Professor Philipp Kukura.
So every one of these little blue dots is a single molecule. We quantify how much light they scatter, and thereby we can count the atoms in each molecule. And from counting the atoms, we can determine their mass. So in other words, we are weighing molecules with light. We are weighing molecules by just looking at them. And the hope is, of course, that this technology is going to help transform the way that we study how nature works and what goes wrong in disease.
Tonight's honorees in physical sciences and engineering from Imperial College London, Professor Gustav Holzer. He's being recognized for developing a rigorous proof of a decades-old conjecture about the stability of black holes. From Queen's University Belfast, Professor Maya O'Neill. Professor O'Neill has established a world-class reputation for her research and invention in the field of hardware security.
Professor Konstantinos Nikolopoulos is being recognized for his key work in the discovery of the Higgs boson. This is one of the most significant breakthroughs in fundamental physics this century and completed observation of the particles of the standard model of high-energy physics, the theory that provides our most basic description of the universe. The 2019 Blavatnik Awards laureate in physical sciences and engineering, Professor Konstantinos Nikolopoulos.
It took us 120 years from the discovery of the first elementary particle, the electron, in 1897, to understand, 5% of what is around us. Only about 1 in 100,000 billion proton collisions will give a Higgs boson which decays to form news. So as you may realize, one of our biggest worries, one of the biggest efforts was to make sure that we collect as many of those events as possible. In this small blue peak, it's a handful of events. And this handful of events makes all the difference between the discovery or observing nothing new at all.
And now to the final awards of the evening, our young life scientists. Professor Tim Behrens from the University of Oxford and University College London. Professor Behrens is being recognized for elucidating the ways in which the human brain represents our world, makes decisions, and controls our behavior, from cellular mechanisms to cognitive computations. From the Francis Crick Institute, Dr. Kathy Mead, being recognized for pioneering research in human embryonic development, and for blazing a trail to obtain the first regulatory approval to perform research involving genome editing in human embryos.
Professor Eva Paluch discovered that blebs, protrusions of the cell membrane, play key roles in stabilizing the shapes of dividing cells and in driving the protrusion of moving cells. So it's a great honor to introduce this year's laureate in the life sciences, Professor Eva Paluch.
Understanding how shape is controlled is really of fundamental importance if we want to understand how an organism is built and how it functions. So what we realized in the laboratory early on is that blebbing is actually a normal, healthy process, which is just a direct consequence of pressure. So it's basically just mechanics. Understanding how cells use mechanics is really of crucial importance to elucidate questions like embryonic development, how our immune cells engulf bacteria and viruses when we are sick, how cancer cells migrate away and go make other tumors if we ever want to be able to stop them. And the hope is that by making science more interdisciplinary, by having more people with interdisciplinary background, we can bring new perspective to these old questions.
Friends and colleagues, here's to the exceptional 2019 Blavatnik Awards for Young Scientists, Finalists and Laureates. And to science.